Welcome, my beautiful souls, and welcome, my gorgeous Taurus. This is your September 25 reading. I am doing opposite signs again. So I just got done with Scorpio, which is your opposite, and now I'm doing you. I'm actually doing sign compatibility too, and you're coming up very soon for Scorpio. I don't know why I always want to put you two together. Um, anyway, Taurus, I'm sorry. Um, I get a feeling, I get a psychic feeling that this is going to be one hell of a reading. And I mean it in a good way. I just feel it in my bones. Um, so I want to welcome you. Welcome everyone. Everyone has been with me, everyone who's new. By the way, thank you for hyping the video. If you enjoyed it, I don't want you to hype it if you didn't. Um, but that really helps the creator with their, helps to grow a creator's channel. So I feel like that could be a great way of helping if it's something that you'd like to do. Um, so this is going to be for Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising. Definitely those intuitively guided. Our spiritual team knows our channel. They just know the way we read. And when I say we, I mean us, because we're soul connected, you and I. Um, so like, they know us. And this month, I decided that I was going to ask our guides direct questions so that we could get direct answers. Really what we're doing is cutting out the fluff. I am going to tell you the questions I'm going to ask real quick and then we'll go ahead and get into it. So the first one, is there anything that's blocking you or your growth in any area? So, any blockages in any area, and we want to know this so that hopefully we can overcome them. Number two, what do your guides want you to know right now and why? Why is it important that you know it right now? Number three, how will your love life be um, in September moving forward, whether you're single, whether it be new love, existing love, past life love. I get that all the time in my readings, which would make you soulmates, or potentially twin flames. So whatever wants to come around love, I'm happy to receive it for you. Literally, I am just your messenger. I am the messenger. Um, don't shoot the messenger. Number four, I feel like this is a really important question. What lessons from the past are helping me right now? I speak about the lessons in our tarot readings all the time, but it is so true. Our history, our own history, can teach us so much. And if we're heading down like a repeat path, we can see that if we're willing to reflect. So anyways, what lessons from the past are helping you right now? And number five, if single or interested in love, what type of person is crossing your path? So you're crossing each other's path, but what type of person? I hope it's a good person. I feel like it's going to be. And last but not least, what energy is divine calling for us to use in the month of September? And I added this question because I feel like this can give us a lot of value. If there's a certain energy that could, let's say, can really help me grow business, well, then I want to use that. Or if it's relating to love. So, whatever it may be. But these are the questions we'll ask. And how I'm going to do it is through quite a few different decks. We're going to let the crystal vision answer the question initially. And then I am going to take the Universal Tarot right above and the Gilded Tarot right below. I am going to use the major arcanas, but we're going to use these as bullet points like we've been doing. Of course, I'm going to give Mother Mary the honor of opening up the reading. So let's go ahead. Let me bring the lid down some, not too much. And oh, let's begin. Look at that. The chariot just flipped itself around. Well, hello, unlimited potential. The chariot asks one thing: balance. Balance. Balance of the feminine, the masculine within ourselves, the light and the shadow. It's not about eliminating one, it's about balancing them. And then it truly becomes unlimited potential. Also card of Cancer. So we're not taking it, but it wanted to be seen, so you have been seen. All right, let's go ahead and by the way, everything is always pre-shuffled. I spend a lot of time shuffling the cards because I'm using the same decks that I used in Scorpio's reading, and I'm doing that on purpose because I am certainly looking for the synchronicities. And even though it doesn't have to mean like, okay, well, Scorpio and I, which I do feel like you could be great in love. I do feel that. Um, but I feel like we can always pull off our opposite signs energy. Like I'm a Virgo, and I can definitely see where using some of Pisces energy would definitely benefit me. So that's why I do opposites, really. All right. Mother Mary, from my beautiful Taurus's September, moving forward, action, action, baby. Today, I take action related to the priorities that I have previously put off. Action. It's like the Ace of Wands. And to me, that means like there's going to be some type of passion that's ignited. Probably already has, but maybe for one reason or another, you may have put it on the back burner. It wants to come to the front burner. It wants to be the um, main entree. So, action. We'll put that right there. And let's go ahead and bring in the major arcanas. Quick shuffle. Wow. Okay. It's like they've been waiting to come out for you. All right. We have hello, full. Hello, new beginning. Hello, leap of faith. Actually, what I called Scorpio's reading. So, this is representing some type of new beginning for you. And remember, when you see the full, it usually means something has come to completion. And this is you about to take a leap of faith. And Mother Mary is actually asking that you take this leap of faith. So let's see. We have Hierophant, your major arcana. So now you are connected to this full no matter what. The Hierophant, number 5. And that often signifies change. Well, that is what it means in numerology. Graceful change, actually. And your major arcana in this deck just makes me feel like there's a blessing. There's a blessing. This question or this card asks you to question, your morals. And sometimes it can just be questioning other people's morals. Do they match with mine? Because something is changing. Otherwise, I don't feel like the full would show here. And I feel like whatever's changing is good because this is about taking a leap of faith and it's also relating back to Mother Mary. So already we're getting the synchronicities. Your major arcana, look at that, the Hermit, card of Virgo. We are in the year of the Hermit. This is the final 9th-year cycle, or the final year of a 9-year cycle. And then we enter into the year of the Magician. Powerful. This year has been about reflection. And, I feel like many this year are having a spiritual awakening. And that's not an overnight thing. A lot of people feel like, or think like, oh, if I'm having a spiritual awakening, it's like I'm going to feel it immediately. It's like a slow burn in a way. But the Hermit, I feel, many times has gone through the dark night of the soul. And that beacon of light that the Hermit carries, this is the light that the Hermit has found by going into, let's just say, the cave. Because normally you'll see like the Hermit going into the cave or coming out of the cave. Well, he's coming out, shining his beacon of light outwardly. And I often feel this is natural healing ability. But when I talk about your spirituality growing, here it is, right? It's like growing leaps and bounds. Even nine's about final reflection, sitting next to change, sitting next to the full. Okay, Hangman. That might be where the resistance is coming from, that Mother Mary is asking for action. The Hangman is a free will energy. We put ourselves in the Hangman. And that could just mean I need a moment. I need to think about something. But the Hangman is really seeking spiritual wisdom, but to use on this earthly plane. Well, the energy that's coming before him, there's a lot of spirituality. There's a lot of wisdom. So I feel like if I'm seeking the wisdom, I'll find it. But at this moment, it may be a pause in the action. The High Priestess. Maybe someone's not trusting their intuition. The High Priestess is all about your intuition. It is your GPS in this lifetime. It's your higher self. And your higher self would tell you, my dear, there's nothing that you're going through in this lifetime that we haven't already been through. Like ancient wisdom. And I often feel in the night are the Hermit. It is a wise old soul. I feel like the Hermit has lived the life paths of the 1 through the 8, now in the 9. Doesn't mean you have to have a life path 9, but that's what I feel. I feel the wisdom from, our ancestors. But they're trying to reach you in your intuition, through your intuition. And then we have the Devil, card of Capricorn. This speaks about temptations. The Devil is fantastic at casting illusions. Like I feel like we're talking to the Hangman here, making you feel stuck when you're really not. And it's probably is action that turns this around. So unless this is a Capricorn for you, I feel like there could have certainly been like a repeat pattern of something, and I don't want to repeat it anymore. I found that wisdom. I get what I'm doing to myself, or someone else is doing to me, but maybe I keep allowing it, so to speak. But I feel like the Hangman's like, no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. and don't you come back no more. So, the devil mirroring the fool. You know, that makes me feel like taking this leap of faith is really taking a leap of faith. But that's the thing with the Hierophant right next to the foal, you can trust this. I feel like you're meant to take this leap of faith. I feel like it's going to lead you somewhere probably pretty amazing. Um, but I feel this sense of like trusting within yourself. Or let's say you're having a hard time trusting within yourself, or trust your intuition, that very first instinct. Try not to second guess it. With the Hermit here, part of Virgo, that's one of the things Virgo can do is overthink. So try not to overthink. You know what I mean? Like when you feel that initial instinct, I'd go with it. Because again, I feel like that devil's going to make you feel stuck, but you're not. This hangman is so loosely bound that he could easily untie himself, right? And when the hangman turns around, this is a spiritual awakening. Interesting. I felt that for you. So, some of you, that's exactly what's happening, especially with the hermit shining that beacon of light, where this hangman seeking spiritual wisdom and the hermit sharing that beacon of light with them. I feel like there's my answer. There's my answer. So I feel like, just be careful of, let's say, new opportunities, and we'll figure that out. New opportunities, maybe new people, come your way. Again, it is going to take you to take that leap of faith. And remember, the fool puts the past in the past, extracted the wisdom, but has left the rest behind. And think if we never did that. Think about like if we carried the hardships of our whole life and never forgave or never put them down, well, that would be a hard life to live. And sometimes it takes time to realize that. You know what I mean? Like maturity. And I don't mean like you have to be old. I just mean, wise. You can certainly be wise beyond your years. So I feel like this is just saying be careful of illusions. Know the difference, right? And your intuition's going to tell you the difference. And if, this is connected to anyone, again, I feel it's important, but I feel you feel it's important that whoever is in your life, that you have similar morals, similar goals, you know, not someone who would put you down, put you down, put you down, someone who would lift you up. So, Taurus, get ready to take a leap of faith. All right, I'm going to pick these up, but trust me, I won't forget them. And we are going to get started with the questions. So we are going. Oh, sorry, I had a knock at my door. Okay, let's get into the questions. So, number one, is there anything that's blocking you or your growth in any areas? Start with the crystal vision. The star. Your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. Mother Mary saying, take action. To me, this is a good sign that a wish, a dream, wants to manifest. And I feel like you wanted to manifest. But why isn't it? Well, I feel like Mother Mary's answering that. I feel like the hangman is answering that. But we'll go deeper. Also a card of Aquarius. Let's take the Universal Tarot. Making a decision. Making a decision. Some of you have been putting off making this decision, and it makes sense. The Seven of Cups can be chaotic energy. It can, it's an emotional decision. Probably makes it even harder. But it does mean that there's some type of emotional, what do I want to say, opportunity in front of you. What do I do? What do I do? And then we have the Page of Swords. Someone may have reached out and started to communicate with you or wants to communicate with you, but you're not sure. It's almost like I see your phone ringing and you're looking at that phone and you see the name, the name appears on your phone. You're like, do I pick it up or don't I pick it up? I don't know. So then you don't. But then they call again. Now I'm using that as an example, though I often feel like the examples I use are because someone's going through that. So we're talking about what's blocking you. Well, definitely feels like Mother Mary gave us the answer. There is not action. You're trying to make a decision. And yes, it is emotional decision. But nonetheless, I feel like, making no decision is still making a decision. That's your no. Um, but something is telling me you want this cup. And I'm not going to say love yet, but it certainly could be. Some of you may have multiple people to choose from. That can't be easy, but I guess that's a good problem to have, so to speak, unless you're on the other side. Um, so yeah, I feel like what this is saying is the star wants to manifest a dream, a wish, and that's why we saw the Fool. So the Fool wants us to take a leap of faith, but the Seven of Cups kind of pulls us back, not sure what to do. Then you have the Page of Swords below that. I don't know why, but I feel for some of you, this could be someone you knew from back in the day. That ringing of the phone, it might literally be the ringing of the phone or a text. I'm old school, so I'm always thinking like, a landline. um, but honestly, let's talk about what the Page of Swords means. To me, the page, first of all, can be someone that you already know, usually back in the day. Can be a child, but I don't feel that here. Um, a page talks about also what's in the atmosphere. So some type of communication. Mercury is in retrograde. That may make it harder for you to make a decision, or let's say trust yourself in making this decision. But nonetheless, what's blocking you? I feel like action. All right, let's keep going. What do your guides want you to know right now and why? Three of Pentacles. Three of Pentacles. One of my favorites. Look at this. The Nine of Pentacles. Wow. I want to say before well, let's take the last card. Not the last card, but in this row. Five of Swords. I feel like someone is not believing in you. and therefore you're not believing in yourself. Someone may have nasty words to say. The Five of Swords is toxicity. And then you add Mercury retrograde on top of that. Well, what I would say is what's ever being said in this energy, try to ignore it. Why? Because the Three of Pentacles is all about your individuality and the celebrating of that. Many of you, this is talking about just getting lost in a craft. Again, something that's been on the back burner, now bringing it to the front burner. Some of you may have a fear of like, how do I know I'm going to be successful? Well, you see that person behind you? That's someone who's admiring what you do. And that's exactly what will happen. You just need to trust in you as your team trust in you. It's like your spiritual team is saying, we know what you're capable of, and you're capable of true success. That's what the Nine of Pentacles is. And this is even seeing the fruits of your labor. Now, that depends if you've planted any seeds yet. But I feel like if there's any fear of doing something that you feel called to do, even if other people are disagreeing with you, listen to your heart. Listen to your soul. Because your spiritual team wants you to celebrate who you are. Add your talents. And sometimes you don't even know you have these talents until you begin. But look at where it leads you to. Success. And by the way, this is your success. These are your ideas, your epiphanies, your hard work. And you are the benefactor of that. Nobody else. Unless the person in the Five of Swords or people. It's funny because I get this feeling like someone not believing in like certain goals that you have, but then you become successful. And then I could see them saying, well, I knew that. I knew that all along. Bullshit. Goodbye. That's just what I feel. No, you don't. I will put it back though. And I love the Three of Pentacles next to the star. So it's like something I feel like you're just made to do. It's interesting because I feel like there's a couple things going on here. First of all, I feel like the star is talking about a couple wishes. Number one, relating to your money. Well, your money looks like it can be, I want to say, fantastic. Or let's just say that I'm very clear on you reaping the benefits of your hard work. And when I say hard work, because I often feel it's of a creative nature, yes, it's hard work, but it's also something you love. Maybe that's what the Seven of Cups is talking about, right? Something that you love, that you want to do, but maybe at this point you haven't quite had the guts to do it, or you haven't been trusting in yourself. That's where your spiritual team comes in. We know you. We trust you. We know what you're capable of. Don't listen to this lower vibrational energy. They don't know what they're talking about. And a lot of times this energy comes from jealousy, envy. It doesn't come from a good place. And that fool that we saw, we may just be leaving who's ever in the Five of Swords behind. And I don't know how they could come. Like, I don't know why I'd want to bring them along for the ride. The only thing is, let's say they're family and you can't get away from your family. Well, you don't have to get pulled into their drama. Do what you feel is right for you. And boy, do I feel like you'll have success. But you won't have success without the action first. So your team is just saying, believe in yourself like we believe in you. Okay. Number 3, how will my love? Well, first of all, your money looks great. So now we're going to talk about your love. How will my love life be in September? In any situation, single, again, new love, past love, whatever it may be. We have the King of Wands. Well, King of Action. Can be Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Doesn't have to be, but it can be. See what comes above them. The Devil. But look at this image. You see the lovers right here. They are naked, but they're chained. The devil's influence over these lovers is of a negative energy. Almost like trying to keep them apart or making them believe things about each other that just aren't true. Again, the illusions of it. These are the lovers. And you just might have to break through the illusion. And then look at this, the Nine of Pentacles again. Well, number 1, like-minded energy. Some of you, this king, and I say king, but it could be a queen. And what I mean is, like, if you're a male and you are interested in females, this could be a female, or vice versa. The best thing to do is, if you're trusting your intuition, you'll just know who you are. Like the Devil card of Capricorn. But right now, I'm not really feeling that it's Capricorn. I'm feeling that it's something that's coming between you and potential real love. And, the Nine of Pentacles is a very independent energy. And for some of you, well, let me put it this way, Taurus, when you don't feel independent, you don't feel whole. When your money's not good, you don't feel good. I feel like love, though I do feel, you want love like the rest of us, but I feel like love is not at the top. But we'll see. We'll see. I like that we have the Nine of Pentacles, to be honest, especially up against the Devil. Because again, the Nine of Pentacles, the person knows who they are in the Nine of Pentacles. They know what they're good at. This is someone I would say would be independent, have their own money, probably has a good job, maybe even is pulled to the same type of energy you are. And I mean that in, like, let's say you're pulled towards learning more and more about spirituality. Well, they may be too. Or they may be doing a similar thing as you, because this is your love. And the King of Wands to me is the king of action. But also, this is someone who shows you how they feel. They don't really hold back. This is someone who's intuitive. so they can pick up the way you're feeling. It's like your spiritual team has realized that, let's just say, the devil has this influence over these lovers. But if your spiritual team knows that, well, they'll deal with that. They'll deal with that for you. Also, Carter Virgo in Capricorn, though, you know. All right. So, what lessons from the past are helping you right now? And this can be relating to anything. Hmm. Seven of Swords. That makes sense. The Hangman and the Chariot. So we saw the Chariot earlier, right? The Chariot is movement, but it's mirroring the Hangman, which is not movement, non-movement. Why? Well, Seven of Swords. That's why. So this tells me somewhere along the way, you dealt with someone who probably was untrustworthy. I don't know why, but I always feel like this person tells a lot of lies. Even if they're white lies, like, especially for you. And I feel the same way. Like, once you lie to me, it'd be very, very hard for me to believe you again. So be careful. Don't lie. But someone already has. And this is from your past. So I feel like what this is saying is you may be able to break this down and understand that this may come from a lack mentality, you know, or someone who is interested in just living an earthly life, let's say, which is their choice. But this looks like here you're evolving, not just in your money, but spiritually. So we have someone who still has hooks in you. And I feel like that's why we have the Hangman, no movement, versus the Chariot, movement. Which am I going to follow? Well, think of the Chariot as a car. And you order a new car, it shows up in your driveway. And let's say all four tires are flat. Well, what good is that going to do me? Right? It's not going to take off, it's not going to move. That means there's no balance. Yet you are seeking the wisdom over that. I feel like what you're going to figure out, especially with the devil here, that there's nothing you could do to change this person. And you're not meant to change them. We can certainly help people, help give them a hand up, lift them up. But the Seven of Swords energy, I feel like, is more of a gimme, gimme, gimme. Well, there's no way. I know you don't want that. And I feel like you don't have to have that because that is your past. This is your past. Some of you may have stayed in, let's say, a relationship longer than what you really want. But if that's the case, you may be someone who just doesn't like change, which a lot of people are like that. Sometimes it's easier, or this is what we tell ourselves, it's easier to stay in what I already know, even if it's not good, versus making a change and not knowing what lies out there. Well, if you look at it in a different way, a different perspective, like everything is going to be available to you, right? You can create true success for yourself. And if this person is relating to love, don't give them the space in your head or your heart to stop true love. I say this often, but it is true. There's different levels to love. Some are free will, even soulmates. Some soulmates come in to teach us some difficult lessons, and then they leave, and that's the way it's meant to be. Seven of Swords mirroring right now the star, almost like someone stealing your dreams, your ideas. Boy, if this is anything relating to work, and there's someone who is claiming your work as their own, and no one will do anything about that, some of you may decide to create your own business. Take that wisdom that you know, the experience that you have, and start something brand new for you. So, in a way, I feel like this is about not taking really the bullshit anymore and thinking more about you and what is it you want, and know that you have the right to pursue the type of life that you want. But that does come with decisions. That does come with action. And then getting the hangman again. Interesting. But clarity can be found. That's the thing. These are your past lessons. So let's just say the hangman, who you can see like the illumination there, which is right by the Seven of Swords. To me, that means I can look at this, understand it to a point. Like, I don't need to know everything. Um, but it is so that I can move on from it. And that's what the Chariot will do for you. All right. So, if single or interested in love, what type of person will you be crossing paths with? Feels like two cards for some reason. Interesting. Another seven. Seven of Wands. You know the first thing I felt? I felt an attorney. Now, that may be for someone, but for some reason, when I felt that card, I felt like the law. Let's just say the law. We have the Three of Swords, and then we have the Wheel, your destiny. Okay, so that's good news. Even though we do have the Three of Swords, we have the Wheel. And that tells me, at least this is the way I read, when I see the Wheel, your destiny, that tells me that everything that's already happened was meant to happen. That means that there are valuable lessons here for you that can, it's like once you understand that, then you can get on to real living. There's no way that I feel your guides would usher in the Three of Swords. Three of Swords is energy that's already happened. What's I feel? I feel like the person that you're crossing paths with, first of all, I feel like they themselves have dealt with heartache and loss. And I feel like that heartache and loss for them, they took it and they're now using it in, I feel like, in a professional way. Let's just put it that way, in a professional way. We already know that they're going to be strong, they're going to be independent. And I don't mean independent from like, I need to be by myself. I mean independent as in I can take care of me. I know who I am. And I like that. That's who I'd want for you. But I also feel matching, like they also may have had a hard time moving forward in love after dealing with some difficult energy. Again, I don't want you to forget that the lovers is here. Although we're seeing them in their shadow self, they're still here. I'm still. What's that song? All of a sudden, I'm still bum bum, even after all these years. Hmm. Okay. I may come back and look at that, but let's continue. So what energy is called for in September, but also moving forward? So what's the best energy that you could take on so that you can really thrive, let's say? Judgment. This is your spiritual team, and they have a message. They're calling you to the present moment. You're talking about a rebirth. I feel like it's saying believe in it. The judgment, your spiritual team, is now mirroring the star. Your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. So judgment wants you to live in the present moment. Why? Because this is where I send your signs. This is how I help to guide you. And if you're stuck in the past, you're probably going to miss my messages, my signs. Some of you, that may be exactly why you're here. But remember, this is about a rebirth. But I feel like because we're talking about what energy would best suit you, I feel like it's being in the present moment. Plant those seeds. Keep planting those seeds. Don't stop. If you plant no seeds, you have no harvest. We have the moon. The moon, card of Pisces, ruler of Cancer. We've seen quite a few Cancer here, quite a few Cancer cards here. But anyways, the moon. I feel like the moon is saying, again, because we're looking at what energy would best suit us. I feel like the moon can certainly talk about uncertainties. We can only see as far as the moonlight allows us to see. But sometimes maybe that's all we need, right? The present moment and the seeds that I'm planting right now, the action that I'm taking right now. Because remember, the moon can, yes, talk about uncertainties, but it's also very dreamy. So maybe it's allowing yourself to dream and dream big. Oh, and then the high priestess. Well, this is how your spiritual team reaches you. Intuition. Keep your intuition strong. Pay attention to it. Remember, this is the energy that is being asked for September. Judgment right above it, literally sending you signs. For what? To help these dreams come true? Where are you sending my signs? Right to your intuition. And maybe it is step by step by step until it's like fly time. I don't know if that was the right word to use, but so the moon mirroring the Seven of Cups, that uncertainty within the Seven of Cups of making a decision. The moon feels like, okay, that's why I'm having a hard time making a decision because I don't know where something or anything will go. Well, your spiritual team would say that's because you are the author. You are the writer of your story. I'm only here to help guide you. Yes, there may be some predestined things or people, but beyond that, it's like, what do you want to do? What do you want to create? What type of love do you want to have? Remember, you want to be what it is you want. You want to try. So if I want love that I know I can trust, then I got to be trustworthy. But you are. You already are. And by the way, I feel like with judgment here, I don't feel like you have to worry about that. As long as you're able to put it behind you, forgiving would be the best thing. And I don't mean picking up the phone and calling and forgiving someone. I mean not carrying that energy around. And that's exactly what the Fool does. Puts the past in the past, extracts the wisdom, and then takes a leap of faith on the next adventure. What's next? Where can we go? What can we do? The world is our oyster. All right, let's turn the decks around. Oh my. Hello, Knight of Cups. Unexpected cup of fulfillment. Mirroring the High Priestess. So, Seven of Cups. Choosing a cup. Some of you, this is talking about unexpected love. And it is unexpected. But there's one way that you can, what's the word I want to use? Better prepare yourself, let's say. And that is, what do I want to say? Well, I feel like you have an opportunity here to really clear the past. And again, if we think about this year, it's what it's about. Because next year opens up a brand new 9 years. Who do I want to bring along? What do I want my 9 years to look? How about the Nine of Pentacles? I'll take it. Two Nine of Pentacles. Maybe this love that is unexpected, though your intuition should be able to pick up on it. And now that puts a whole different light on the moon. It can still mean, I don't know where this is going to go, but I feel it. So I'm going to step into it. And when I step into it, that dreaminess opens. Your spiritual team is behind it. All right, let's look at the bottom of the crystal vision. The chariot. The chariot. The chariot mirroring judgment, movement, balance of what? Of the feminine and the masculine, of the light and the shadow, but within ourselves. Now, if this is soulmate energy or twin flame energy, then it is the balance also of both. I don't feel like judgment would usher anyone in unless they also were able to put the past in the past. Oh my, the world. Your next chapter. Your next chapter. We're in the universal year 9. This is the next chapter. And the world means something has come to completion. Well, let's let it be the Five of Swords. Let's let it be the Seven of Swords. Let's let that complete. Even the Three of Swords. Bye-bye. Let's jump in the chariot. Some of you, why I keep seeing these lovers is because I feel like they are going to break through that illusion. And I feel like they are going to find each other. I feel like your spiritual team's going to make sure light and dark. Who's going to win? Well, the truth is, whichever one you feed. But in a, let's say, a spiritual battle, the light is going to win. Which means you are going to win. Let's look right underneath. We have the Hierophant, your major arcana. Hello. And even under that, the Three of Pentacles, we already see it. And then the Seven of Swords. I feel like someone just wasn't appreciating you or isn't appreciating you for who you are, like on an individual level. And shame on them. Because if you're in a relationship or want to be with someone, but you have to wear a mask, you have to pretend that you're this when you're really that, you know, that's not happy love. I hate to even put the word love with it, but we can feel that way. Again, the illusions of the devil. You, my friend, are the Hierophant. And you have this unexpected cup of fulfillment coming in, ready or not, wanting it or not, it's coming in. She was under the chariot. The Six of Wands, victory and success. Victory and success. Wow, with the Nine of Pentacles, I had no doubt. She was under the world. The Tower. The world talks about completion. And the Tower definitely puts an end to something. It's disruption in its least form. I often feel in the Tower someone's fallen from grace. And it's not my job to pick them back up again. They chose to fall from grace. Whatever is completed, I want to say let it be completed. Because the world, this is the Fool in the middle here. So the Fool's excited for this new beginning. Like, just let me at this adventure. Different perspective, a different way of looking at life. It's like saying to these people who work against you, well, I'm not taking it anymore. I'm stronger than that. I know my worth, or I'm learning my worth. I deserve, number one, you deserve to have a good financial life because I know you're hard workers. You deserve to have a great love life because I know you're loyal. And yes, I know not every Taurus is loyal, but in their core, they are. Okay. I think I'm going to take the light seers. And it's funny because The only two readings that I took extra cards for were yours and Scorpio. Again, opposites. Let's give them a cut because there's a couple things I want to look at. And then we'll move on to the clarifying love situations and the romance angels. We have to bring out the romance angels with the Knight of Cups here. And the Wheel, by the way. And what is that wheel falling under? The question of love. The question about love. Okay. I feel like I understand the majority of it. I really feel like I understand all of it. But I think what I want to look at, well, I'm going to start in the line of love. And when I say the line of love, the question, if single or interested in love, what type of person is crossing my path? And again, it's telling us that this is someone who they themselves have had their heart broken. I don't know if I'd want to be with someone who's never had their heart broken. I don't know. Because how would they understand? I'm not saying that everyone should have a broken heart. I don't know. All of a sudden, they just popped up in my head. Okay. Tell us more about this person. This person that sits upon our wheel. Tell us more. Tell us more. Tell us more. 77. Taurus. Look at this person. This is the Knight of Cups again. But look at them. Patient. Much like you. This person has a dozen red roses in their hands. They're not messing around. Wow. Interesting, there's a letter. There's a singing bowl, like a Tibetan singing bowl. It's almost like this person has planned like a romantic lunch, a romantic picnic. Interesting. I don't know if I've ever said that about this night. He does feel very laid back, but yet at the same time, we already know that this is someone who I feel like is a hard worker, and I feel like has seen the fruits of their labor, and probably still seeing the fruits of their labor. The white horse behind him, to me, that's a sign of purity. Wow. All right. Anything else I want to come out with that? It's almost like your spiritual team is saying, just believe that love is going to find you. Okay. I think that's all that wants to come out with that. So, but we'll accept that. All right. What else do I want to look at? Bum, 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 bum. Mm, let's look at the devil. But I'm looking at the devil as the influence over these lovers. So let's see if we can learn a little bit more about that. Do they break free? This can be love of a past life. And It's like dark influence trying to keep you apart. But again, judgment, your spiritual team, and your will, your destiny, I feel like will outweigh the shadow. Six of Cups. Well, the Six of Cups speaks of nostalgia. Some of you, this can talk about someone you already know. Makes me want to go back to that page. I don't feel like it's the person of the Seven of Swords because I feel like that's the energy. It's time for it to go. But this really is nostalgia. Happy memories. Oh my. Hello, Ace of Cups. Love. This is unconditional love. And then the Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands is about passion. You remember, a knight is coming in. What is this knight bringing? Action oriented energy. But I often feel it's about the passion that you'll feel. And if you just look at her, she's like in this, she's going by the beat of her own drum. She's not listening to the Five of Swords people, the Seven of Swords people. She's doing her thing. And it makes her feel good. And that may be calling for you to be in this energy. The things you cannot control, let go of them. This feels very playful to me. So I'm looking at the lovers, but from the point of view of, what was I going to say? Not why the lovers were stuck. Oh, I know what I was asking was, are these lovers what? Well, the Knight of Cups. So we get the Ace of Cups. So we know that it's love. And the Knight of Wands, we know there's passion. The Six of Cups, I feel like you either know this person or this is someone of a past life, so it would be a soulmate. But it could be a soulmate no matter what. I mean, it's like your spiritual team is playing matchmaker and they have the perfect person in mind for you. Okay, I accept that. So let's just say that this night, well, we saw two nights now. Well, let's put it this way. This knight's at the bottom of the deck, right? But then when we clarified the love that's coming in, it came to the top of the deck. It came out and on the table. So this knight jumped from the past to the present, so to speak. And even the chariot representing the unlimited potential, if there's balance for these two people. And then the will, to me, signifies, for some of you, this could be predestined love. Doesn't guarantee us, even if it's predestined, because our free will is our free will. And our spiritual team knows that. But that doesn't mean they won't try everything in their power. That may be a little bit of what we saw that tower. Like we gave you a little extra resistance because we know things aren't going to change, or we know that you deserve better. We just want you to know that. All right. Last but not least, I think I just want to look at the wheel. Again, your destiny. And even the Seven of Wands above it, the type of person. To me, the Seven of Wands stands, the meaning is stand your ground. But I feel the Seven of Wands, once you've stood your ground and once you've moved on, I often feel the person in the Seven of Wands is very good at helping others to put out their fires. So, whether it's relating to law, and that could be the case for some of you, or it's just relating to the type of person, someone who's giving, who's loving, who cares about others, who knows that, I'm saying this, but not in an egotistical way, where I have to put myself first, right? Like I have a right to live life the way I see it, but I have to also take action for it to come about. Anyway, I don't know where I'm picking this up at, but I feel like this is probably for one person, maybe a couple. But I feel like someone has the ability to hypnotize. Like that may be what they do for a living. Could be like past life regression also. Hmm. I feel like they live a spiritual life. And I do, and I really mean it. Like, not someone who claims to be spiritual and then turns around and stabs you in the back. Well, that's not spiritual. We have the Knight of Swords. Interesting because we have the Knight, or I'm sorry, we have the Page of Swords, and now we have the Knight of Swords. Well, if you look at this image, this knight looks like he's rushing to get on his motorbike, going somewhere, communicating with someone. You know, in this day and age of social media, especially because we saw the Six of Cups, I often feel that, or I often see it in my mind's eye where people are changing statuses on, like there's social media, like on Facebook, changing it from relationship to single. But then I feel someone else sees that. Almost like, well, that's my clue. That's my chance, my opportunity. And I don't feel like they're going to blow it because this person feels like they're rushing to communicate with you. And there must be a reason. There's something, whether it be their spiritual team, like gave them the green light, or they just now know that you're single or on your way to be single. I just get this sense of someone is saying, well, it's my turn now. It's my chance. Let's put it that way. It's my chance because you're going to make the decision, but it is over your will. So this could be, again, the page back in the day, now the knight, current energy. Remember, judgment is calling you to the present moment. There's about to be a rebirth. It's mirroring the star, your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. It feels like it's answering more than one dream, though. Money feels like an opportunity to grow to true success. But you got to start. You got to start. Even if you don't, I often feel like sometimes, especially with tarot readers, because I know a lot of you read tarot, um, it's like you want to begin, but you're afraid you don't know enough. And my advice would be to begin anyway, because you probably know a lot more than you think. And I'm not talking about what every card means. Like, I don't even feel like you need to know that. To me, the way readings present itself to me are like a story. So even if I didn't know the meanings of the card, I could still kind of figure it out. But anyway, so don't put off. What's that saying? Don't put things off tomorrow that you can do today. That's not the saying, but you know what I mean. You know what I love is you guys always know what I'm talking about, even when I'm making no sense. And I love that. Okay, let's bring out the clarifying love situations. Give them a cut. And for anyone who's new, the reason why I cut every deck is because I want to introduce them to an ongoing reading. Okay. Oh, sorry, Mother Mary. All right. Trusted ties. Build rapport. Believe in mutual respect and respond with understanding. Trusted ties. Build rapport. Believe in mutual respect and respond with understanding. And then we have enlightened truths. Share your insights, spreading awareness with the power of honesty. Share your insights, spreading awareness with the power of honesty. Well, I kind of feel like the person coming in, that's what they already do. But that also may be a clue for some of you to like go ahead and take that chance that you have these insights. Okay. Last but not least, let's bring in the romance angels. Okay. Romance angels. That didn't take long. Taurus. Calling in your soulmate. And it's like, holy shit. It actually shows up. They actually show up. Your prayers, affirmations, and visualizations help bring you together. Look at the angel. Angel influence, really a devil's, which is an angel. Dark angel influencing the lovers. Now we have an angel influencing your affirmations. You calling in soulmate. Trust. Trust. This situation is calling for you to have faith, calling in your soulmate, and then trust that your affirmations will be heard. Oh my God. Same thing Scorpio got. Past life relationship. That's probably why I felt that. That's not probably why. That is why I felt that. You have known each other before. There won't be any denying. I mean, you can try to deny it. And again, some of you may already know who this is. But now that Six of Cups, because, I do read that often as past lives. It is telling us it's a past life. Even if you do know the person in this life, it means that you've lived lifetimes together before. And sometimes it can mean that these soulmates, for whatever reason, didn't get the opportunity to love as freely as they wanted to in a past life. So this can be another chance. That's literally what I named Scorpio's reading. I'm sorry. I don't mean to keep bringing them up. But the synchronicities are off the chart. Because I think I literally named their title Past Life Love, Second Chance, or a second chance at love with a past life love, something like that. And here you are with the same energy. And I often feel that when we really find our ultimate love, let's say, chances are we've gone through a lot of bullshit before that. We've loved people who didn't love us back, or we loved people who had no problem cheating. And this is what has taught us, right? Number one, how not to be in love. Because if I plan on cheating, well, then divine is not going to send me in a soulmate. Why would they do that? Especially because divine is so involved here. They're listening to your affirmations. They're asking you just to trust, maybe in divine timing. But as I say, trust in divine timing, I want you to understand that you're being called to the present moment. So this isn't something that's like years away or even a year away. This is soon. This is soon. And I feel like the sooner you pay attention to the signs and then take the action steps that Mother Mary is asking you to take, and that just may mean get involved in your life again. Get involved in your life again. Know that you can create this true success. I know it. I know you can. Like that Nine of Pentacles, 100% I believe you belong in it. But you have to believe that. And love, this type of love, I 100% believe you deserve it. But you have to believe that. And it's so important. I feel the importance of letting go of those who, let's just say, have lower vibrational energy. Once you start raising your own vibration, my advice is never to lower it again to be with someone. It should be the opposite. If someone wants to be with you, well, then they know they must be of a certain vibration or they can keep on going. Keep on going by. I got loving to do. I got money to make. I got a beautiful life to create. And it doesn't include toxicity. It doesn't include lying and cheating. It's the opposite of that. And therefore, so will your life be. Wow. Okay, I'm going to let that be Taurus. You know, other than the difficulty that, you had to go through. Well, I'm saying you had to go through, but you have gone through. But the opportunity to understand it from a spiritual point of view, number one, so you never have to repeat it, right? Because if you understand it, if you've broken it down, remember that tower is under the world, which definitely is about completion. And I get the fact that these people that I've given my time and energy to just are more than comfortable living in lower vibrational energy. Or let's say you do have, you do want your spirituality to continue to grow. Well, naturally, those who have lower vibrational energies, the universe wants them to fade away. And we just have to learn to allow it. Sometimes we want what we want no matter what, even if it's not good for us. Judgment is like, sweetie, I have some exciting news for you. Like this calling in your soulmate, it's working. You believing in your creativity, it's paying off. You understanding that the shadow energy is an illusion, that clears up a lot of drama. And I would say the most important thing is knowing that your spiritual team is speaking to you right now through signs, symbols, songs, words. Some of you, this whole reading is your sign. And if that's the case, claim it, claim it. And so it is. And that's where I'm going to let it be. I love you, Taurus. I loved your reading, minus some of the hardship, but the potential of your future, like, mm, mm, mm. It's funny. Somebody left me a comment because I guess I must say a lot, and they didn't like it. I mean, come on. Anyways, I love you. I thank you, and my wish for you is that these wishes become your reality. I'll see you next time at our table. Bye bye.